This house was built by a man known as the first entrepreneur to take a load of goods down the Ohio and Mississippi rivers on a flatboat from Pennsylvania to New Orleans. He invented the flatboat. Hey everybody, this is Colonel Carson with Family Tree Nuts, and I'm in front of this historic house here outside of Taylorsville in Spencer County, Kentucky. And by the way, if you like these types of videos, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and click that little bell so you get notifications when we post new videos. Today I've got a special guest with me. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Bonnie Downs, and I'm a member of the Taylorsville Spencer County Tourism Commission.
So what's the story with this historic house and the flatboat and things?
This house was built by Jacob Yoder about 1806 and known as Beechland until his death. It is a two-story, 13-room house that was built of bricks that were kilned here on the premises.
Wow, so they made the bricks right here at this house, didn't they?
Yes, they did. And I'd like to also point out another feature of the house. There is a limestone apron that surrounds the house.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And they also have an outdoor kitchen. A blacksmith shop. And a spring house. So it was quite a big operation, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So you said that Jacob Yoder built the house in 1806. That probably means that he wasn't born in Kentucky. What's his story?
Well, Jacob Yoder was of Swiss descent and was born August the 11th, 1758.
Wow, 1758, so that puts him about the right age to be a Revolutionary War veteran. Was he a veteran?
Yes, he was born in Reading, Pennsylvania, and he was an American Revolutionary War soldier and also an Indian fighter.
And I guess, well, being an Indian fighter and where he was from was an important thing back then, wasn't it?
Yes, I would say it was.
And then in 1782, he did the thing that he's most famous for, didn't he?
Yes, he did. In 1782, he left Fort Redstone, Pennsylvania, which is now Brownsville, Pennsylvania, and descended on the first flatboat down the Ohio and the Mississippi River, carrying a cargo of produce.
Wow, so he's the first person to bring his products to market from all the way from Pennsylvania down the Ohio, down to Mississippi, all the way to New Orleans.
Absolutely correct. It is said that he was the inventor of the flatboat.
He invented the flatboat. Well, I think that's a pretty big deal, don't you?
I do.
Well, I mean, the flatboat had such an impact on the economy of this area of the country, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
What is a flatboat?
A flatboat is a barge that has a cabin built on top, and that was for protection from Indian attacks and the weather.
How big was a flatboat?
A typical flatboat was 12 feet wide and 50 feet long.
And you said they took the goods down to New Orleans, and then what?
Well, once they reached their destination, the flatboat was disassembled and the lumber was sold to build houses in New Orleans.
Really? So they broke down the boat and sold the lumber too. Well, why didn't they take their boat home?
Well, it would be a little hard to travel upstream.
A little harder to go upstream, isn't it? That's for sure. But I guess how did they get home from then?
Well, they walked back to Kentucky or rode a horse.
Can you imagine walking from New Orleans back to this area of the country?
No, I can't.
So I guess Yoder sold his goods and walked back to Pennsylvania like everybody else did, right?
No, he didn't walk back. He actually stayed and sold his cargo to a Spanish commandant, and he took the proceeds and bought furs and hides, and that was quite a profitable venture for him.
Yeah, he took them back east and sold them, made a ton of money. Probably started off his ventures here in the farm, didn't it?
Maybe so.
So like so many other people of the time, in 1785, he moves to Kentucky.
Yes, he moved to Bardstown in 1785 and settled there and married Mary Mossman while living there. And they moved to what is now known as Spencer County here at this Yoder residence.
And Yoder lived for quite some time right here on this farm, about 30 years or so, didn't he?
Yes, he did, and he died here on the farm in 1832, and he's buried here on the farm.
He's buried here on the farm in a cemetery?
Yes.
Wow, we'll have to go take a look at that, right?
Yes, the cemetery is just over the hill from the house.
Awesome. So after Jacob died, did they sell the farm and the property?
No, they didn't sell it. The house stayed occupied by the family. Jacob and Mary had two daughters, Mary and Eliza. Mary married Mason Brown, who was a Shelby County Circuit judge. Eliza married David Poignand. And David and Eliza, while living here, David decided to change the name of Beechland to Vaucluse for his home in France.
Okay, so that's where that unusual name of Vaucluse comes from. He changed the name of his father-in-law's property, Beechland, to Vaucluse, which was a property that he owned in France.
Yes.
So after David and Eliza passed away, who lived here then?
Their son, Yoder Poignand.
Yoder Poignand. And he did something pretty cool, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He left the first land for the Taylorsville School, and that school carried his name for many years, Yoder Poignand.
Yoder Poignand School. And you know anybody that went to that school?
Yes, my mother-in-law went to that school.
Really cool. Is it still there now?
No, there is still a school there, but the original building is not there.
Interesting. What kind of school is it now?
It's an alternative school for the Spencer County school system.
Really cool. And after Yoder Poignand lived here, who lived here after him?
Knox Brown Sr., son of Mary and Mason Brown.
Okay, so we switched daughters there. There was the two daughters of Jacob Yoder, Eliza and Mary.
Yes.
Eliza's family lived here for a couple of generations, and then we switched to the descendants of the other daughter, Mary Brown.
Correct.
So Mary's son, Knox Brown Sr., lived here with his wife for a time, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
And who lived after them?
Knox Brown Jr.
Knox Brown Jr. and his wife.
His wife was Marion Blackburn Brown.
And they lived here for a long time, didn't they?
They lived here until their deaths.
And did you know them?
Yes, actually my mother-in-law played bridge with Marion. They were friends of Knox and Marion.
Really cool. And after Knox Brown Jr. and his wife passed away, who owns the property today?
Knox Brown Jr. and Marion Brown's son and daughter own the property today. Joe Blackburn Brown and Mary Jane Brown Markham.
Okay, they own the property today, so it's still in the family name.
Yes, it is.
I guess that makes Jacob Yoder their second or third great grandparents, doesn't it?
Yes.
So is the house on any kind of registries at all?
Yes, in 1976 it was listed on the National Register of Historic Places.
Great year.
Yes, that was the bicentennial year.
Can we go down and take a look at the cemetery?
Sure, it's just over the hill from the house.
All right, let's go check it out.
All right.
Okay, now we're at the cemetery, which is just about, what, 300 yards away from the main house?
Yes, that appears to be the right measurement.
And this is where Jacob Yoder is buried, and his grave is quite unique, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Captain Joseph Pierce of Cincinnati erected over the remains of his old friend, Captain Jacob Yoder, an iron tablet. It was the first cast west of the Alleghenies.
Which is something that I don't think I've seen before. You know, usually you see, you know, something in concrete or stone, but this is actually an inscribed tablet. It's really cool.
Yes, it's quite unique.
What does it say?
The inscription says, Jacob Yoder was born at Reading, Pennsylvania, August the 11th, 1758, and was a soldier of the Revolutionary Army in 1777 and 1778. He emigrated to the West in 1780 and in May 1782 from Fort Redstone on the Monongahela River in the first flatboat that ever descended the Mississippi River. He landed in New Orleans with a cargo of produce. He died April the 7th, 1832, at his farm here in Spencer County, Kentucky, and lies here interred beneath the tablet.
So this cemetery is a beautiful place. It's got a huge, thick stone wall all the way around it.
Yes, it is beautiful and it's well maintained.
And you have to actually, it's pretty unique, you have to go up some stone steps.
Very carefully.
Yeah, and step over that centerpiece there and
yes,
step
and
on
there
down.
are steps on the other side as well.
Really neat. You got to make sure you got the proper shoes if you're going to go on this one, don't you?
Exactly.
Who are some of the other people that are buried here?
Yoder Poignand is buried here, Eliza is buried here, Jacob, of course.
And many of the other family members are buried here. It's a beautiful family cemetery.
Yes, very much so.
Something else that's pretty unique about this cemetery is just outside the wall is a
single marker on the hillside just below it is dedicated in memory of our faithful servants, the many enslaved persons who lived, worked, and died at Vaucluse.
So this is quite a historic area for your county, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's one of the most historic places in our county.
It's amazing, you know, the inventor of the flatboat is right here in Spencer County. How many people that live here do you think know about this?
Sadly, probably not more than 2 or 3%.
Yeah, but we're going to fix that, aren't we, with a video like this?
We certainly are. One of the reasons for the video is to preserve this historic site here in Spencer County.
So, Ms. Downs, is there anything else you'd like to say about Vaucluse or the cemetery or the Yoder's or anybody in general?
Well, we're just proud that this beautiful estate is here in Spencer County, and we're just happy to be able to present the history in this manner.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing us out here and allowing us to be part of the preservation of this awesome spot.
You're welcome.
So, here we are at the house and the cemetery of Jacob Yoder, the inventor of the flatboat. And we're happy at Family Tree Nuts to have a little part in preserving their legacy. And remember, Family Tree Nuts, let our nuts find the nuts in your family tree.